to start a recording really quick, and I'll probably just upload this to my Twitch VODs thing separately so people can check this at a later point. Hi.
Wow!
It's been a little bit. No, the alerts are still scuffed, of course. Why is it doing that, man? I tested these alerts before I went live, and of course, stuff was going wrong, even though I said, you know, even though I tested these things. It's so bad, but it's okay. I'll just say ignore the alerts for now, and let's actually get on with what I'm trying to say. Do I have audio monitoring on? I don't believe so. I can always do a few more tests, like, in between stuff. I'm not really too fixated on fixing it at this exact moment in time. Like I said, if things are a little bit scuffed, don't worry about it. Yo, Marathon Man, what's up? Alright, finally. I just need to stay focused and actually talk about stuff now. Yo, lady, thank you for the 19 months. Welcome back to the Miscontinent, and enjoy the emotes you can use on Twitch for the next 30 days still. 2024 has been a crazy year. It's been an absolute crazy year. Not just for me, but I'm sure for a lot of people. Even if we don't even go into the specifics of personal lives on people's experiences, just the general world events and stuff are absolutely bonkers, but we'll talk about that as time goes on. Let's talk more so about reasons for being gone, stuff going forward, and then let's actually get on with black and white webcam. Okay. Let's actually get on with what we need to do here today. Thank you, IBA. It's nice to see you too, man. Well, does the stream keep lagging in and out, or is that just me? I haven't dropped any frames, so if it is, then it's on Twitch's end. Or at least I hope so. That would be really annoying. Okay, I think I'm... Let's finally start now. Okay, so... December 30th, 2023. Came back to stream after another hiatus, the one before that. We're actually in serious mode now, let's talk about a few things. And I had this whole self-reflection I did in that period of time where, you know, I wanted to better myself, really find out what I want to do, and ultimately just actually enjoy life, because a lot of things were not really doing so hot for me personally. I would mostly just come to stream afterwards and kind of feign happiness, and ultimately I was only back for about a month before I dipped again, and you know, I just really couldn't do that. I was on a complete tear with streams in January of this year, and that was 6 months ago, can you believe that? 6 months ago. And you know, things were going pretty okay for the most part. I got my foot back in the door with running KH1 Beginner. Got a 148.12, I believe. Very happy with how much I progressed in that in such a short time frame. Played through Persona 4 and really enjoyed that too. I even started playing Persona 3 Reload, and we'll get back to that soon, hold on. But around the middle of February, I just kind of fizzled out because simply put, I kind of went full force into streams, was doing like near daily 12-hour stuff. And like, I just couldn't do it. I burnt out super hard, and I ended up just not enjoying it anymore. And I kind of fell back into another sort of depression. And that's why I was gone for a good bit of time. It really made me think to myself, do I really want to be streaming? Do I, like, what the hell do I really want to be doing with anything? Because ultimately I've come back several times over the last year or two, and I just cannot stick with it for more than a few months at a time. And so, 6 months passed, and I had a lot of self-reflection, you know? I've kind of been all over the place mentally, you know, my diet was complete trash. I went back up to like 210 or 215 pounds, which is like the heaviest I've been in like 4 years, which I'm not very happy about. I'm currently 190. So I've gotten stuff back on track, and I'm currently working on, you know, getting back to where I was. So things have already taken an improvement just in terms of mental clarity and a bunch of stuff like that. But essentially, I just kind of snapped and told myself, I need some time to really reevaluate where I am in life, and I just couldn't come back until I really felt more comfortable with that. I was just completely burnt out from streaming, and I understand that the approach I've been taking to streaming just hasn't really been doing it for me. It's not the case that I despise it, because I mean, ultimately I keep coming back, so there is something really good there. But, you know, I just kind of felt disconnected from life in general, because most of my time I was just, you know, on the grind with streaming, all that other stuff, trying to find some kind of semblance of purpose and whatnot. But then, you know, I really took the grand scope, thought about stuff long term, and things have changed. Like, and I know I usually say that like every friggin' time I take a hiatus and I come back. Yeah, 12 hours every day was absolutely destroying me, and I've come back with like... You're gonna think it's gonna be like a do as I say, not as I do thing when you see what I'm doing in a little while here, but hold off on that for now. But, you know, I'm really serious about it this time, and I'm trying to get through the timidity, indecisiveness, and a bunch of other stuff I've kind of stagnated in life the last couple of years, and thankfully streaming has kept me decently afloat. And I appreciate everyone for the support that you've given me over the last several years. Currently, let's talk about how life is right now. Because of the state of things, I am now currently back living with my folks. They've been a extraordinarily helpful step in getting myself back in the right direction.
Wow.
Also, you know, thank you, Jordan, for the 5 gifted. I'll go over this once, I've said all my piece, but thank you, everyone. And, you know, they've really helped motivate me. They've allowed me to actually see, like, genuine help to kind of combat my problems I've been having over the last several years. Because I've been very defiant in actually wanting to genuinely make a change. Because I thought I could handle it all on my own, and the answer is no, I could not.
Wow!
There are other things kind of going on currently that I will talk about in a later date if they do kind of persist between, you know, family stuff and whatnot, but at the moment it's okay. But yeah, just... I'm very fortunate to have the people I do in my personal life, and they've helped me get back on track, and, you know, hopefully now that I've gotten that set foot, I don't have to really cower away, and I'll be okay in opening up to people more on a personal front whenever I need some other kind of outlet. I have so many people I've met over the years that I could easily talk to, and, you know, for whatever reason, I just keep defaulting to that whole, I don't want to burden people with my own problems, and that's just not a healthy headspace to be a part of. Anyway, there will be probably more things to talk about in terms of personal stuff in a few days, once I have a few more things sorted out. I just need to get my foot back in the door with streaming and all that.
Wow!
I want to talk about the general push for streams going forward at this point, and probably a little bit of a teaser into what's going to happen by the time 2025 rolls around. But only a little bit, because I mean, that's 2025 is still a decent bit of ways, but I can definitely tell you what's going on, and what's going to happen in a couple months from now. Yo, the best, thanks man. And thank you everyone. I will catch up on everybody in a little bit. Discord, Twitch, and Discord are back online. Fantastic. Thank you very much, Unknown, for that. Yeah, it is 2024. Not only that, it's about to be September, so we're entering the, last third of the year, actually. I was gonna say quarter, but I'm bad at math, but... insights to what is going on, and what is going to be going on forward in the next couple of weeks to months. Let's talk about KH1 for a little bit. KH1 is a game that I've played since it came out in 2002 on the PS2. I was 6 years old when that happened, and it's been one of my favorite games, and it still is, even to this very day. It is very much a video game, I agree. In 2013, I took it upon myself to want to speedrun the game, and, well, fast forward, you know, even a decade later, I'm still doing stuff with it, and I'm very proud of the things I've been able to do on the back of, you know, just connecting with people who enjoy the series, enjoy KH1, enjoy the speedrun perspective, challenging, build a community on Twitch, all that jazz. And, you know, it's taken me a lot of ways, and it's allowed me to do things I never thought I would, you know. I was able to portray myself at charity events like GDQ and such. Travel around, meet people I probably would have never met in my life without it. And, you know, I hold a lot of soul with the game and what it's actually brought me over the years. But I have needed to face several truths in my absence, and one that I can certainly say is I feel like I've mostly run my course with this game. Now, don't freak out about what that exactly means. I will elaborate shortly, but I just want to say specifically, my desire to speedrun KH1 has dwindled over the years. It's gotten to the point where the game in general is so optimized, in most cases I've kind of lost my, I guess, just that spark in order to really optimize the game much further. And, you know, because as a game, and this is true for all speedruns, as every single KH hate arc. Not exactly. I'll get to that. It's just, you know, with how every speedrun gets more optimized, it gets more mentally taxing to do that, and simply put, the beginner any percent grind really killed my spirit, and, you know, I had a couple runs that could have potentially been like a 147 pace, and after that I probably would have never touched the friggin' category again, just because I really did not enjoy it. However, I will say this right now. Beginner mode, beginner any percent for KH1, it's not likely I'm going to be back to that. And if I am, then it's just because I'm really that confident, but at the moment it is not currently in my plans to run that category, because it just destroyed my mentality. That being said, there are still a handful of things left in KH1 that I would like to do, and some of them are not even strictly speedrun oriented, so I have like a few notes written here and I'm like jumbling all over the place. Basically, I was really battling with myself to see if I really want to speedrun the game anymore, and the answer is yes, I do. Just not in the exact ways that, you know, I felt potentially. Like, a big thing is I felt like I needed to do certain things instead of actually doing what I strictly wanted to do with it. And I think it would just be a much healthier standpoint if I really dedicate that energy into stuff I truly want to do, instead of what I feel like I almost have to do, because, you know, a lot of people, like, beginner 80% is like a super popular category and stuff like that. But ultimately, if it's just destroying me mentally, then it's not going to be something I can do in the long term, so I'm not going to say that beginner 80% is gone for good, but I do not have any immediate plans to run that just because it completely destroyed my motivation to really do anything in regards to KH1 speedrunning, so I've been rambling for a little bit. I mean, that's all I really do. I'm not good at these types of things. It's always awkward for me the first time I come back to stream, you know, and a bunch of other things here and there. But, you know, it really did, lit a spark, per se, when I looked back, because I looked at my other VODs, like when I played Persona 4 casually in January. I was really genuinely enjoying that, and I had times where I would just kind of trudge through the actual speedrun perspective of things. KH1 and whatever, just to get to the casual stuff, and I've really enjoyed that. Like, I really enjoy the casual stuff, like, way more than the actual speedrun stuff, and it just tells me, like, I just was not enjoying my time with it. So, ultimately, I've decided, we need to revamp things a little bit. Going forward, it's very likely I'm probably going to have alternating days between casual stuff and speedrun-oriented, or challenge-oriented things, because spoilers, that's also going to enter the table here. But yeah, I really thought about things. I'm still going to play it by ear. I don't have an exact schedule yet. I'll have it figured out sometime in September. I just want to get my foot back in the door, like I said, with some KH today and also tomorrow. But yes, I have a couple things I'd like to do with KH1. Still left on the table speedrun-wise. I said after I finish beginner mode, beginner any percent, I would move on to this. There are a couple categories, so let's list those. JJ Hundo for beginner. Really fun category. Something I feel like I would enjoy a lot more because it's a longer category. It's not as optimized quite yet. It's also still reasonably improvable. And because the category takes a decent bit of time, that would almost kind of fill in the stream time. Because one of the big things about any percent was it was really draining to grind like a 2-hour category and like make no progress for like, you know, 4, 5, 6+ hours and stuff. And that was just completely draining me. At least with JJ, I can invest like a couple of hours into one singular run, kind of practice a little bit of things. And then after that, because I think I already have a few goals in mind for that. I would also like to improve my level 1 JJ time, because my PB from that is from 3 years ago now. And strats have changed considerably. I'm not going to grind level 1 JJ, because that category is a complete madhouse. However, I definitely will spend a little bit of time just optimizing the category with more modernized strats, because with the solid run with up-to-date stuff, and no major mistakes, I can easily improve that, so... We'll definitely see some level 1 JJ happening in the relative near future. I'll say the time and place once I actually know for sure. And you might be noticing a pattern here. After level 1 JJ, I will be returning back to level 1 All Worlds, because that is genuinely a really, really sick category. I was kind of grinding that a little bit towards the end of last year, and I just kind of lost focus again with that. But I can definitely improve my time that a little bit as well, so... As it stands right now, beginner JJ, level 1 JJ, level 1 All Worlds, and here's where we get a little bit dicey. As far as standard and proud mode are concerned, I'm not really going to touch those again as their respective categories, like standard and proud 90%. I don't have any desire left to run those. About a year and a half ago, I got a 205 in level 1 any percent. And I'm not going to make any promises with this, but I figured if I'm going to be, working with the level 1 categories again, I think I will step my foot back in the door to try to optimize my level 1 any percent time. That being said, if it ends up being too much of a pain, because that category is extremely difficult and quite optimized now, also not to mention the amount of luck you need with it, I may or may not, but... we'll see how it goes. So potentially level 1 any percent might make a return sometime in the next month or so. And if I'm still feeling crazy, I may, although don't count on this, because I mean I just went through my whole tirade of it. If I really feel like I'm just absolutely crushing it, I will maybe try my hand to get a 147 in beginner, but that is not, like, I would not count on that. The other things I mentioned there, potentially keep a lookout for. But as far as beginner mode is concerned, outside of JJ, I have no true desire to actually run that again, so... I'll update accordingly. I'm sure I'll still have my hands full with a bunch of the level 1 stuff I plan to do in the near future. Outside of speedruns, though, there's still a couple of things I would like to manage with that. I still have an incentive to try to beat the game with as little MP as possible. How well that's gonna go, I don't know. I haven't done any planning for that yet, but we'll have like a level 1, like minimum MP type of run going on in the future. I'll figure out when to do that. I also have, Critical Mix is a mod that I can also play on the PC version now, and that's something I've kind of put off, and I still don't really know anything about that, so expect that as far as more fun, casual, maybe slightly challenging type stuff. So Critical Mix. Oh man, the black and white webcam toggle again. There you go. And also another project I started last year that I didn't really come back to. I'll give you a hint. I may have done a few things like in the last few weeks to kind of prepare for this. No damage runs of KH1 is something that I've really wanted to do for a while now, and I'm going to make a return to that at some point as well. Not only because I want to do a regular proud mode, not getting hit the entire game without saving or reloading anything. And yes, that is going to be quite the challenge. And there might even be another extra challenge on top of that, but I want to save that for a later time. But yes. As far as KH1 goes, I think those are the general things. I also know that there's like a combination randomizer between 1 and 2 now, which I definitely want to look into at some point, but I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. I'm just giving you guys a basic idea as to what to expect in the near future. Yo, Violin, no audio, but hello from PAX. Oh, dude, I hope you're having a good time. I know you can't hear me, but it's so nice to see you, man, and thank you very much. Welcome back to the Mist Continent, and enjoy the emotes you can use on Twitch for the next 30 days still. And thank you very much for that, Sage and Antiki, I believe, who've also done that. Like I said, I'm so bad at these things. I'll get back in the swing of things. I'll keep tabs on alerts and a bunch of other things once we kind of get back in there.
Wow!
Now, outside of KH1, I have a few other things that I'd like to do. My throat is getting dry because it's like the most I've talked in like months or something. I'm exaggerating, but you know what I mean. There's a couple things I'd like to pay another visit to, and actually move away from KH1, because ultimately I feel like it's gonna get to the point where runs of KH1 just really aren't doing it for me anymore. The obvious thing is, well, maybe not the obvious thing, but the first thing people might think of is, I would like to go back to Kingdom Hearts 2. And probably fixate on doing, critical mode and level 1 categories for that, and who knows, man, maybe even, special long run, now that the game is on Steam, because spoilers, maybe that's the version I'm on currently. But, yes, KH2 is... I'm not gonna say is gonna be the next thing I do after KH1. I'm still kind of up in the air. In fact, I think it's more likely another thing might pop up soon. For those of you who know me from a really long time ago, I used to run Majora's Mask way back in the day. And I've also found motivation to want to dabble into that again at some point. Also, randomizers for that game are fucking fantastic. One category in particular that's always captivated me is the glitchless any percent category, because quite frankly, outside of maybe like the 100% category in MM, any percent with glitches really doesn't do it for me much anymore with how it is in modern day. It's a fantastic run to watch, but it just doesn't captivate me. But glitchless Majora's Mask any percent, and also the occasional randomizer. When I eventually play that again is something to expect probably a few months down the line, maybe in 2025. Do you do tutorials? Any chance for tutorial for any of these categories? Not particularly, but who knows, man? Maybe that's something I can do as a rounded off thing once I'm not strictly grinding the categories anymore. But who knows? There's a lot of potential opportunity. I have a few things set out for what I want to do in the interim and in the immediate future that I'll have stuff sorted. Like I said, my biggest problem is I try to plan too many things in advance. Like, I'm only just listing off things I plan to do at some point. And I feel like it would just be better if I just kind of go with the flow and just, you know, improvise. I want to lock you in a room with ZFG. Oh my. Here's probably one of my biggest announcements, and this will tie in very nicely with the casual side of things after I'm done saying this. And this might come as a little bit of a shock to people, but here we go. So for those who do remember the previous streams I did before the most recent hiatus, I played through Persona 4 Golden. And I really, 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 really love that game. Like, it's probably one of my favorite games I've played in a while. And, like, I'll get to P3. I know people are gonna say, what about P3R? Hold your horses. Horses need to be held right now. I will, that's gonna be my next talking point with this. And, let's just say, because I've basically been active again. I've been doing stuff in the background, and I've finally come back to stream today, but I've been doing a few things in the background earlier in August, just to kind of tabulate a few things that I want to set out and do. And, this might be a bit crazy, because, I mean, on the face of it, it kind of is, however. I think I want to invest in giving Persona speedrunning a shot in the relative near future, and I'm probably going to start with Persona 4 Golden. Because I've taken a look-see at a few of the Persona runs. I've only barely looked at, you know, I've tried to keep my stuff away from P3R because I still need to finish that game, but I see like P3R is only like an 8-ish hour run, so I feel like I could probably manage that if I actually learn how to do it and everything. But Persona 4 Golden is only like a roughly like 7-ish hour run. It's like less than 6 if you remove loads, so it's actually a lot shorter, and based on a few things I've seen with that game, it's really, really fascinating to see how they handle a speedrun of that. So, I will probably... in fact, I would probably say Persona 4 Golden is going to be the next main speed game that I play. I would say is the most likely thing. It's either going to be that or KH2. I still haven't decided on that, but Persona 4 Golden runs are going to be something I kind of lean into. And if I enjoy the stuff for P5 and P3, I might potentially look into those as well, but Persona 4 Golden is definitely a game I'd like to try my hand at running at least for a little while and see what I think about it. I have also considered running FF9 and FF10, but they are not in my immediate, or like, they're not as important as the stuff I've laid out so far. Basically, 2025 is going to be kind of a departure, and me trying to play a few things and see what I really enjoy. I basically want to start breaking away from KH in the next few months just to kind of keep my mentality fresh. Still have that speedrun drive, because I adore speedrunning, but I feel like I'm getting close to the end of my rope with what I want to do with KH1. And that's okay. One of the hardest things in life is letting go of stuff, and even with that being said, I still want to pertain to KH1 in some capacity. I just think runs of that are gonna die off, and I'd rather look into a few other things in the future. That being said, Persona 3 Reload. I made a decent bit of headway into that game when it came out in February, and, you know, hiatus happened, and I really haven't done much with it in 6 months, and funny enough, now the Answer DLC, I believe, is coming out pretty soon, so I also need to get back on that. That's the general stuff. Before I move on, I should also say that's the general stuff for speedrunning that I've kind of elaborated there. Now more on the casual side of things. P3R, I will get back to sometime in September. I don't have an exact date on that yet. It's probably going to be sometime after the DLC releases, so people who want to play through that before I play the game again can kind of get acquainted, because one of the biggest things for me is I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of playing games on release day, because people want to play the games for themselves. And, you know, if they're just going to play it themselves, they have to come back and, you know, if they're interested, they come back and see my reactions to stuff, so I think it might just work out better if I delay that a little bit. I think it's coming out in, like, September 10th or something like that. I'd probably say that's going to be around the time I actually come back to P3R, but yeah. I'd like to finish off that game and then see what I think about that, because the stuff really just started ramping up. I think I got to right before the beach holiday type thing. I haven't really seen much beyond that. I've recently played through the game, or just quickly ran through the game again up to the point I think it was like July 11th or something like that. I'm rambling a little bit, but simply put, I will be back to that game sometime in September, and I will also be playing the DLC probably before the month is over. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. You're at the beginning. Yeah, I think I'm in July, so I didn't make it, like, super far, but I'm not going to talk too much about it. I'm going to reserve the discussion for that for the actual streams in case people haven't looked into it and don't want to get spoiled on things. That's pretty much what I have to explain as far as what is coming up in the future. As far as streams go, at this point. This is gonna be like the, you know, saying of do as I say, not as I do, because when you see what I'm gonna be doing in a little bit here, it's gonna kind of just explode, but I'm going to be trying to limit myself to around, like, at most 6 to 8 hours on streams going forward, just because the 12 hours every single day has been, like, absolutely destroying me, like, ever since I started doing that towards the end of last year. Like, it's just not sustainable for me. And I say this in advance, I apologize. To compensate for that, I will be... Well, see, this is the thing. I am increasing my ads played per hour as a result of that, so I apologize that there's probably going to be a higher ad frequency. But I need to do something to just kind of keep, you know, stuff like that up, so I can, you know, maintain that. Yeah. It is September, and if you haven't subbed to the channel before, you get a discount. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge, but no. I appreciate everyone who's resubbed, who's gifted subs already, and, like... It's purely up to you, but just note that going forward I will be increasing my ad frequency in lieu of lowering my stream hours, just so I can keep myself sane and I don't, you know, burn out super hard like I did previously. So, I'm gonna probably do my best to limit it to about 3 minutes per half an hour, so it's like 6 an hour. I will do my best to try to play them during times when not too much is going on, but it might be difficult to do that. Are we about to start a speedrun? Yes, we are, Abby. hold for just a couple more minutes and we'll get into that, because I've been delaying ads for like 20 minutes now and it's gonna play in like 5, so I have to wrap this up before ads interrupt what I'm trying to say. So that's general type of thing going on there. Most streams going forward, unless I'm enjoying it or it's like a special occasion, it's probably gonna only be 6 to 8 hours. I can't do the daily 12-hour stuff, it was just destroying me mentally, but yeah, 6 to 8 hour streams on most occasions, maybe the occasional short stream, maybe the occasional long stream, play it by ear. Ad frequency is going to be about 3 minutes per half an hour. Streams are probably going to be divided between me doing a specific thing that day and maybe something casual the next, going back and forth depending on how I feel. I'll have a schedule more consolidated once I kind of get my bearings straight again. And yeah, that should be just about everything that I have to say. Thank you, Shirahane, for the 71. Holy shit, welcome back. I'm so glad you're doing well and back in the game. Thank you very much. Welcome back to the Mist Continent, and enjoy the emotes you can use on Twitch for the next 30 days still. So, yes. That should be about everything I have to say in regards to streams going forward. I will probably be reiterating stuff the next couple of days in, you know, short little blurbs as they come up. And that kind of brings me to, so what is the plan going to be today? Well, as you guys can clearly see, there is a prompt on the screen to play KH1, Kingdom Hearts Final Mix. So we're doing something with that today, and what might that be? Well, let me see here, and this is why I said, do as I say, not as I do type of thing. Where is my live splits? There it is. You see that up there? We are gonna be hitting it back with a bang, because, as people might have guessed, look at this. Like, it's crazy. You guys know what happened? I can't believe I didn't mention this until, like, right now, but you guys know what happened? In June this year? Steam version came out. So it's much easier to actually do a fully fledged all achievements run of this game now, and I figured, fuck it, man. We're gonna start this stuff off with a bang, because I have the time for it. And, I really want to see where we can go with this. So, that's a big one. I know I said I'm gonna limit stuff to 6 to 8 hours on the usual, but today is the first stream back, I mean serious business, and I really just want to get myself more re-antiquated with KH1. So, yeah. I am going to start this up right quick, and we are going to get started with an all achievements run of KH1 as my first stream back. Yo, Dan, thank you very much for the 64, my dude. Welcome back, brother. Thank you so much, man. Welcome back to the Mist Continent, and enjoy the emotes you can use on Twitch for the next 30 days still. I don't know why alerts are being so funky with that, and I apologize for them being scuffed. Hopefully, I will have that sorted out relatively soon. Yeah, see, there you go. Playing a bunch of times and whatnot. Thank you, Apple Jerks, very much for the 10 months as well. Welcome back to the Mist Continent, and enjoy the emotes you can use on Twitch for the next 30 days still. I am now going to take it upon myself, and I'll finally be able to look at chat and actually talk with you beautiful people once again.
Wow!
Thank you, Dr. Mustache Cat, for the 6 months. Welcome back to the Mist Continent, and enjoy the emotes you can use on Twitch for the next 30 days still. Yo, Sally, what's up? Congrats on your Aqua Wayfinder badge, looking snazzy. But, yeah. Let me stop recording, because I've said everything I really care to say on that.